The International Olympic Committee, the IOC, will reportedly be sending the CCP $800 million tax-free to help with infrastructure for the Games. My next guest is looking to hold the IOC accountable. Here now is Michael Waltz, Florida congressman. Sir, I am stunned, although I don't know why I am, that the IOC, which gets some money from the U.S. taxpayers, is funneling almost $1 billion to communist China for the Games. What can we do to prevent our money from going along with it?
Well, Laura, today I introduced legislation to strip the IOC of its tax-exempt status. It's listed as a 501c4 social welfare organization, and it shouldn't be. It's doing anything but, as it turns a blind eye and aids and abets the Chinese Communist Party with mass rape, torture, concentration camps, stamping out freedom in Hong Kong, threatening Taiwan, and the list goes on, not to mention covering up COVID that's killed nearly 6 million people around the world. The last thing we should be doing is subsidizing with taxpayer dollars. NBC's contract alone with the IOC is $7.5 billion. Think of the tax bill just there, and half of the IOC's revenue comes from American corporations, who, by the way, themselves are completely hypocritical and are drunk on Chinese money. But just like an alcoholic, they're in genocide denial. They want to boycott Major League Baseball, and they want to boycott Georgia, but they themselves preach social justice there, but turn a blind eye when it comes to genocide.
And we found out, Congressman Waltz, that NBC News will not be sending any announcers to the Games. Greg Hughes, the NBC Sports Senior VP of Communications, said in a phone interview with USA Today that the announced teams for these Olympics, including figure skating, will be calling the events from our Stamford, Connecticut facility, supposedly due to COVID concerns. They're concerned about the Omicron mild variant, but not about associating with genocide.
Yeah.
And this, well, and by the way, this is why we launched, which I know you know about, our Not 1 Minute campaign that calls on Americans to not watch a single moment of NBC's broadcast of the Olympics, given what you end up associating yourself with, which, as you said, is genocide, torture, and all manner of human rights violations.
Well, and by the way, the IOC says, well, we don't do politics, and what about the athletes? We know what, they didn't take that position when it came to apartheid in South Africa. They banned any Olympics in South Africa for nearly 30 years and went a step further, and rightly, and banned the South African Olympic team from participating anywhere in the world. But yet it's okay to be in politics when it comes to South African apartheid, but not when it comes to the Chinese communists and mass genocide. And the only difference, Laura, is money. Is the amount of money involved. Well, they shouldn't be getting it tax-free on the backs of taxpayer subsidies from the United States.
We understand tonight that there is a massive corporate lobbying effort underway.
That's right.
Against your bill. So these multi-billion-dollar multinational corporations that are housed in the United States and elsewhere are coming after you. What does that tell you?
Well, you know, it's a national security issue as well, because these companies like Intel and Coca-Cola and Procter & Gamble, they have massive Defense Department contracts, yet they want to send billions right over to Beijing as they send it to their massive military bill. So I said enough is enough. Time for choosing. Where's our corporate patriotism?
Just one more thing, Congressman. China has officially warned our athletes that political statements during the Games are subject to punishment.
Look what they did to their own Olympian and tennis star, Peng Shuai, who leveled a credible sexual assault allegation against a Chinese official, and she disappeared, and who was complicit in her clearly coerced statement and retraction? The IOC. So enough is enough. They're anything but a social welfare organization.
Now, we love our athletes, but it's despicable that we're even participating in this propaganda coup for President Xi. Congressman, we salute you for your efforts, and whether or not they succeed, you stood for what was right, and that will be remembered. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Laura.